What's up, y'all? You are listening to For the Artists, a podcast brought to you by Creative M Projects. I'm your host, Melissa Sharee.
And I'm your other host, Eric Seats.
Yes, and we have another special feature because that's what we do. We bring on special people.
Mhm.
But our special feature today, we had my mom on earlier this month in celebration of Mother's
Mother's
Day.
Day.
This is like Mother's Month. Really, every day is Mother's Day, but we'll go into that later. Anyway, so we have Seats' mom on today. Mama Seats. All right, wait. Don't.
Hello.
She said hi, but hold on. Let me tell y'all a little bit about Mama Seats, okay? And I'm calling her Mama Seats, but her name is SYLVIA Seats, okay?
You've known her long enough to call her mama.
That's right. That's right. It's
Listen,
quite all right.
yeah, thank you. All right, listen, y'all. She was born in Indianapolis, okay, Indiana, on April 10th. She is the 10th child of Catherine and James Graham. See, back in the day, they used to have a lot of kids.
Back
She
in the
has
day.
8 siblings, okay? 3 have gone on before her. She has 3 children, a stepson, 10 grands, and 3 great grandchildren. Her
Right.
children are Michelle, okay, obviously Eric, Jeffrey, and Leroy, okay, aka Trey. She's very proud of her children and all of their successes. Now, listen, the apple does not fall far from the tree because her children are all entrepreneurs. And if you guys have been listening to this podcast at all, you already know Seats and I are always talking about stuff about make your own lane, create your own business, do your own thing. So, of
Always.
course, her children embody that because she's that herself. She's the owner and founder of Something Sophisticated LLC. I like that. Grandeur Crystal, the Bridal Search, author of I've Got to Tell It, Sylvia's Jewelry Sensation, and she is an inventor. Most of her companies are in a dormant stage at this time due to health reasons. However, Sylvia is a fighter, y'all. We're going to hear about that fight. Woo, woo.
That's
And her
right.
ultimate goal is to bring the companies back to life and into success because hashtag it's never too late.
Yeah.
Welcome.
My
Thank
mom.
you. Yes. Thank you.
Yes.
Glad to be
Uh,
here.
You're glad to be here. We're
Oh,
glad to
yeah.
have you here. Too bad you're not here in person. We can give you a big old hug,
I know. I know.
virtual
next
hugs.
next time. I like your hair, mom.
Thank you, sweetheart. Oh, thank you, Eric.
I love that. No, you can call him sweetheart. You call him whatever you want to. Anyway,
I
okay,
mean, yeah,
listen.
that's be normal.
So I
Be
have some
normal.
questions about being a mom to Eric Seats. First of all, was he
Mhm.
like in the womb just kicking around making beats in your belly, or what was really going on?
He came here different. He was the smallest baby. I have three, and he was the smallest one, but was the more feisty one.
Hmm.
And but he was a good baby, good child being raised, but he's very creative. Even I can see back then. Can I tell what things you did?
Yes.
We would
Mm.
be like, Eric would climb the walls and be up on the ceiling and to scare my sister. She was coming down the hallway and he's up there hanging out. Or he would, of course, do the air drums at
Hmm.
school. And the teachers were, something's wrong. Is he nervous? He keeps doing this. He'll write and then and I said, no, he's playing the drums. That's what he's doing. So, and
You
about different
froze.
pots and pans. Yeah, coffee cans that were left, fill some with water, fill some with clothes. And I said, what is he doing? He made a drum set and he did the different sounds. He got the different sounds. So he knew back then how a drum should probably sound. Of course, he heard his dad too playing the
Hmm.
drums. So he heard a boom, 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 or, ding, ding, ding. And I mean, we said, let him play. So we got him a small drum set. It was real, and he just took it from there. So, but it's been a joy raising him. He's a lot of fun, even in now. Plays a lot of jokes, messes with mom. They- but they always teasing me. But it's very interesting watching him grow into where he is now. I mean, every step. And I thank God for allowing me to see where he is now, because I know he's going further. So I'm just trying to hang on with that. You know, I'm very encouraged by my children.
Wow. So you were filling up drum. You were making your own drum sounds with water and clothes. Dang, Seats, you was really
I,
doing it even back then.
not even that. I really feel like we don't give our kids enough credit. All of our kids, I guess, all of us as adolescents knew something even before our parents knew. There's a seriousness within us, and sometimes we can't define it. We can't determine what it's going to be called or what it's going to look like in society. But your path is your path, and that's what I think that God does for us better than we can do for ourselves. He's already determined determine what we're going to do. We're the ones trying to keep up, right? And so it feels like it's meant to be. But what's so funny about listening to my mom say those things, that still applies to whether I'm talking about if right now I'm involved with cooking and trying to be culinary about it, or political about it. The everything that she just said would still be the same kid. The topics change, but the kid doesn't.
I like that. So you saw it early on and you nurtured that.
Right. Always encouraged him, never said, I may have said, well, stop making so much noise. But, just even if
Not noise.
he's got, music.
Go ahead,
And
Mom. I'm sorry.
even when he would get awards and stuff, I drug myself out. I was gonna be there regardless. And we drove however many, to watch him. Even, my daughter Michelle with the violin, Jeffrey with his football, Jeffrey, whatever they were doing, I was gonna be there. And so I just wanted to push them on, encourage them. And I encouraged them to learn a trade, be able to do something for yourself, because you're working for, someone else, you could get fired at any time and you're not going to have anything to fall back on. So learn a trade. And that's very important to teach your children, and stay with them, encourage them. It might be at first, the noise of playing, but when he got older, it turned into the keyboard music. He would just be playing, and I just love to hear him play around the house. I would be just doing cooking or whatever, and he's in there, he's just strumming the chords, and it was awesome. So it just stick with them, keep them encouraged, right?
I'm thinking about the comment you made about a teacher saying that, like, is something wrong with him because he's always putting his hands in the air. And you were like, nah, he's just playing the drums.
Unfortunately, today some of those kids are categorized or put on different routes on the way home because they're creative.
Well, yeah, and
At
that's what
least
I
they
was
were
gonna
still.
ask.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Melissa.
Yeah, I was gonna ask your mom about that because what was it? Because there are some parents that might, if a teacher or professional brings something to your attention and tries to make it seem like, oh, they're a little off, they're a little quirky, some parents might be like, oh shoot, okay, let me get him checked, stop doing that. But like, what was it that made you be like, no, he's fine, he's just playing the drums, and let him play?
Right. Because it was repetition at home. He would do the same thing at home. He would be doing what he's doing. He's going to play the air drums, and he was always beating something, always beating something. He would make a drum set. He would do this as just the drums was his first love. And like I said, his father was a great drummer. And he followed in his steps. He wanted to play. And so he set him up on his big old set. So I said, well, we need to get him a little set. Let's find a little set. And we did. And he took it from there. And so I knew what was going on in his mind. So, but like you said, if someone wasn't paying any attention, or this just started for a different child, that could have taken them down a different direction. because they could have said, well, we got to go, like you said, go get him checked. What's wrong? Something's wrong, or be still, stop doing that. Stop doing that. And that could have killed the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
So just, encourage them, watch what they're doing.
And I always say this too, Mom. I'm glad I grew up in a time period that I did and was afforded the opportunity. Because I remember y'all, like I was the kid that, I always say this in a lot of interviews, that I was the kid that y'all had to come and get us when the street lights came on.
Yeah. Right.
Today, you got to kick the kid out the house to make sure to try to get him to go outside to play. So I'm glad I was born when I was born and how I was born. And I don't regret anything or take anything for granted. But it's time for me to ask you a question.
Okay.
What?
Go ahead.
Dang, I have so many. I do. And it's funny because this is actually, Mom, this is the first time that I'm able to interview you.
Oh, yes, it is.
We haven't been on any, Melissa, this has to go down in the archives. I've never gotten to ask my mom any questions. So now I'm trying to pick one out the sky. Okay. And I'm going to land on this one.
Okay.
Ooh.
He could, but he didn't.
Okay, Mom. What'd you say, Mom? What'd you say?
I said you could have, but you didn't. But go ahead. I want to.
It's gonna be good. I'm not mad at space. We need to take our time today and not, So here's what I would ask, Mom. Would you change anything, honestly, about my path and what your expectations probably were before you knew that I was good at anything?
No, I wouldn't change a thing, because you didn't grow up being a bad child or a gangbanger. You weren't going down that road. So, and I saw that none of my children did. So in seeing that, okay, they're on the right path, raised them in church, they, doing good in what they were doing, I didn't have that kind of problems with them. So,
you know what, Mom?
I wouldn't have changed.
And when you relocated to California, that was a very impressionable stage of my age. What, 8 or not 9 or 10? 9 or 10, whatever it was very like you're the man of the house all of a sudden in California.
Yes.
And back, and I just, there were certain things, and it was really abrupt, that change. But that's such as life. Right. But I do remember being overprotective of you, because here she is, this pretty young lady in California, and everybody's all of a sudden whistling at her, and I'm like, what's, it was different. It was different from Indiana. Right. And it was just a culture shock, if you will. But I really believe, Mom, that had you not allowed me to do music, I wouldn't be the young man I am today. Right. It could have, because one thing that I do understand, I was going to be good at whatever I felt like doing.
I saw that determination.
It does.
And like
whatever I felt like paying attention to was going to be the thing. And the culture shock of leaving Indianapolis, Indiana, and abruptly living in, we had a meantime in Kansas City for 3 to 6 months, but not, then to Long Beach, California. Thank God for music, Mom. Let me tell you, I guess my testimony is music and church. Church provided the consistency for me to be able to practice my hobby regularly, playing the drums, and then gravitating to the piano and the organ eventually, and having to learn the choir songs for the week. I wanted to play the organ more than I wanted to do homework after a while. So I guess what I'm trying to say is what we used to call distractions could be somebody's lifesaver. So me playing air drums because of this teacher doesn't understand this thing. And now I'm on the same Zoom call yesterday, called a teacher. I'm now on the alumni board for my high school and talking to my economics teacher on a regular.
Great.
It's funny how things shift.
Right.
And life will do that on us. And I'm sure your mom has the same testimony, Melissa. You met my mom in 90
Yeah,
or
90.
91.
No, it was 90. It had to be 90.
I mean, so yeah, so even you even seeing Melissa evolve.
Right. Look at her now. It's awesome.
I knew she was going to be this person.
I'm so proud of you.
There's something about this. I really feel like I knew that she was going to be like this then, now.
Oh, yeah.
Does that make sense to you?
To me? Sure, makes sense.
Anybody.
I thought it was for your mom, so I didn't jump in.
No, it made sense. And like going back to something you said, that when we relocated from Indianapolis to California, that's a big jump, big culture shock. But when we did that,
I didn't even know what a Hispanic person.
Yeah.
I didn't know what a Mexican. Yeah, that's not cool.
Right. Well, Indianapolis, at that time.
Yeah.
But then when we got there, and you said that you had to become the man of the house, and you continued on that role, because like even Michelle and I, we kid, he'll sit us down and talk to us and lecture us, and we call him Daddy. Okay, Daddy, Michelle, Daddy. But he gives good advice. And at one time, you were going to be a motivational speaker, and I still really wish you would, kind of pursue that. But
he speaks
is every week.
Yes, and he's very encouraging, very intelligent, and he reminds me so much of my oldest brother, Anthony. And you even look like him with your mustache. You look, and I'm just looking at you talking a few minutes ago, and you look so much like Anthony. And that was a cool man, but very intelligent.
Such
and Eric, artist, and Eric, myself, and his oldest daughter, Erin, we would sit down. All three of us would draw the same object. And, we were interested in arts and the arts and, that kind of thing. He can draw, he can do this. And it's like, man, all of this talent, God-given talent piled into one person, he's got to explode. You can't hold that. You're not meant to hold that, because we're here for a purpose. God has us here on this earth for a purpose. So, what am I going to do? What am I going to do with all this, energy, with all this talent I have? It explodes. Share it. Share it with the world. And that's what you're doing.
I hope so.
Wow. Yeah, you're sharing it with the world. There was something you said, Seats, when you were just talking that I wanted to bring up. Oh, you were saying that, how did you just say it? Somebody's hobby might be their one thing that saves them, or something to that effect. But I guess my question is, right? It's like, because some parents, Sylvia, some parents will be like, just make that a hobby. Don't put all your focus and energy into that. Like, that's not going to pay your bills. That, I mean, the narrative that a lot of artists unfortunately have to hear. But I'm guessing you didn't give that narrative to Eric. It's like, and why not? Right.
To none of them, all three of them. I've always told them, work for yourself. And I did the same thing after working for many. It was a reason I went down the path of working for someone else, because I did learn great customer service, everything else. But at a point, make sure you learn a trade. Make sure you got something to fall back on. Because if you get fired from a job, what am I going to do about here? Then you become dependent on, something else or somebody else to help you through. But no, get out and do it. You can do it. You're blessed. you're smart, you're intelligent, you can do it, get out and do it for yourself. And all three of them took that and they're gone with it. And I'm, like I said, there might be, some tough love shown, but they didn't fight me. They didn't fight it. They didn't fight the gift. They went on to, okay, this is what I'm supposed to do. Let's do something with playing the drums. Let's do something with learning how to do yard work. Let's do something with baking cakes or taking care of children. And that's what they're servers, God's servants, because they serve the public. They're not their slave, they serve the public. Eric serves the public with his talent, with Michelle serves with her gift of sharing with children, daycare, baking cakes. Jeffrey shares his with awesome lawn care. So they know that this is what we're here for. We're to give.
Seats. So because your mom ingrained that in you in terms of, basically don't rely on anybody else, like make your own way, have your own job, have your own business. Do you think that like when it comes to drumming and all of your artistic stuff, was there ever like a doubt in your mind that I'm not going to do this? I don't see. I want to articulate this in a way because look, it's like it seems like because of what your mom was teaching you, right? How she was raising you, it's like maybe your focus on your art and your drumming, it was never about like let me just get out there, express myself in the world, but it's like I'm gonna do this and it's going to be a business. Like this is going to be my thing.
I'm
Am
not
I
going to
saying that
front.
right? I mean, I don't know. I'm asking you.
The question is fine. My answer is this. That's not a thing that I didn't have as much confidence then as I do now, because time is the only thing that allows the confidence to happen. So with these accolades and different accomplishments and things of that nature, that builds the character in us and allows us to be a little more bold and brave in our endeavor, right? And so, but before that, it was just, I don't know if I here's what I do know. I never really let anybody tell me that's tight or that's not tight. I didn't ask you. And that I just stuck with me not asking you, because as soon as you start asking people, you're allowing them to dictate and determine your well-being almost. And you, what's funny is you might act like you didn't hear it, but the next time you go to do something, you're sewing your next quilt, you're doing your next track, you're mowing your next line, and what's playing in the back of your head is what that person said, because I don't allow that. And I don't know if I ever did, Mom. Even, and it has nothing to do with money. It has nothing to do with equipment, because I didn't grow up having all the equipment that I needed. And what's funny is, but I didn't know what I didn't have until I got to the school that I was afforded the opportunity to go to. And I'm like, dang, I'm looking at certain students have these, I'm like, but at the same time, I didn't even need all that they had to get done, to put us in the same space and time.
Right.
I didn't have the tools. I didn't have the resources. I didn't have the monetized backing. But what's funny is you did, and we're still right here, right now together. So I need to understand and recognize what my value is. My value is not it's not in a location. After a while, I stopped feeling bad about where I lived. And what's funny is where they didn't live, they wanted to come too. Only time will tell on us. It's funny. I brought something to the table I was probably ashamed about. And what's funny is, whether they admit it or not, whoever they happens to be, there's a certain amount of maybe guilt, shame, or uncoolness that they bring to the table as well. And they just looking for you to complete the puzzle. But no puzzle is complete unless the pieces are all there. You're a piece. I am a piece. I've been a piece. But and you can't recognize that until time. So mom, being, you know, your moves, when you made your moves, and then what afforded me to make the moves that I'm making now presently, and whatever my kids are going to do, I can't wait to see what I bet you they surpass me in everything, because I think you did enough. You did what you were capable of doing. I've done enough, and I can't wait for them to do enough. And I guess that's the legacy you leave, is that I guess it's not really, because wealth is not always a bank account or a trust fund. Sometimes it's energies, or sometimes it's resources. Sometimes it's a talent or a gift that could get you through this life, more so than what I guess a Wells Fargo, if you trust in them, what they gonna tell you worth, which shouldn't be the thing, I hope, for anybody listening. Anyway, ask my mom a question, because I gotta use the restroom.
Okay, well, we have another special person that wants to come on and say hello.
Bring him on.
So this is a story, because we're gonna have both our moms on at the same time.
Okay, cool.
Although I don't know if she can be seen.
Is this your
oh
mom?
my goodness. We can see you.
Who is that?
We definitely had to change the picture on that quickly.
Yes, change the picture, please.
What was that?
She was somewhere that she had to wear a mask.
Oh, okay.
I am sitting getting my nails done, actually.
Oh, cool.
And so I have to keep my mask on. So it's all good. You look so good. Oh my gosh, you look so cute.
Oh, thank you. You look good too. Hey, we got on red.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, you guys are matching in your red.
That's right. All right.
Yes. So you know what? Sylvia was just talking about how when Eric was little, he was making his own drums, filling up stuff with water, putting clothes in there. That
really?
He had an ear for music at a very young age.
Wow, that's powerful right there.
He had a certain sound. He knew the sounds, because he heard his dad play, and his dad had a big drum set in the house, and he knew the sounds that, I got to make this sound like this, and this one's that like that. And I just say, let them have it.
That's
they got drums in here. Okay, that's what they do.
Yeah. How young was he?
Oh my goodness. He was, well, maybe I'm gonna say 5, 6. Were you about 5?
That's really young.
Wait, what?
That's how young you were.
Making your drums. Were you about 5 or 6?
Like 1 or 2.
Okay.
Wait a minute, Eric. Are you serious?
He was very young.
That sounds about right.
Wait, you were just getting the walking thing done down at 1 and 2.
But
from my understanding, I was playing before I was talking. So,
all
he
right
was
now.
Around. Yeah, and he would crawl to the cabinets to get the utensils out of the cabinet to possibly. And so he was, a toddler.
But you know what it is? We never give kids enough credit. So us as adolescent and just infants, I think we come into this world with a certain, I don't know. I think.
Well, you know what, Eric? Old people say you've been here before.
Right.
You ever hear that saying?
Yeah.
And so somebody seeing
like
you, they would say, yeah, no, you've been here before. And you just came back again. Right?
I hope so.
Yeah, no, it's an old people saying that when they see kids and they're a little more beyond their years and intelligence or craft, they say, that child been here before.
Yeah,
I believe that.
And they know, that God-given knowledge, wisdom. It's like
they say a little child shall lead them.
That's right.
That's exactly right.
That's written.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
It is written.
We just have to learn how to release that as parents, right?
And
trust that. But that authoritative figure comes in, right?
Yes.
And we have to, but I think the next generation behind us is learning that more than we have, because we came from an era where you do what I say. You know what
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
saying? And
Yes.
so it's different. And the generation
Very
coming behind us has a much more open mind and freedom of their children to let them have a freer spirit.
They're probably not afraid to ask the questions anymore as well.
That's true.
Always had. You know,
That's
it's
true.
not, and like you just said, because I said so, that's not really the definition, or that's not really the reason why. And so we've always wanted to know more than because I said so. And that's what this generation does. It challenges parent. You know, what I've understood over time is the leniency has changed, the discipline has changed. You know, we couldn't wear lipstick to church. Now you can almost dance and
They do dance.
certain gestures. And, you know, I'm like, almost cursing there. So it's changed, it's shifted, right? In a very short, considering a very short period of time. And so with those leniencies, and that's why it's hard to, that's why we can never judge, because let me ask you both this. Being, this is my prom date right here.
Oh, I know. Oh, wait a minute.
So
Oh,
funny.
I know. Oh, I know.
Yeah, and so
this is going over the airwaves, so y'all need to
okay.
watch it.
All right, so
Carry
look,
on.
what's so funny is what would you dang, what would you change anything
Oh
about,
my gosh, you're right in the same lane with me, Seats, because I got a question like that. I love it. Go.
so continue the question. So I started it, you finish it.
Yeah. Okay. So my question is in line with that, because it's like being parents of creative people that are artsy. I want to know, somebody's got some background noise. I want to know, what are you most proud of in terms of what you have done to like help bring us to the place we are now? But then what is it that you would do differently if you could change something and like go back? Kind of like what you were saying, Seats, right? The second part of it. Who wants to go first?
I'll go.
Sylvia. Okay.
Okay. So the first question, I believe, is what are we proud of in raising our children and getting them to where they are? I am very, very proud, a very proud mother. Proud of and I'm not boasting, but I think that's your question. What are we proud about ourselves? Very proud that I put them first and encouraged them before I would do things for myself. I realized these are my children. They've got to have this. They got to have that. You know, it's at some point we had it pretty rough after, you know, the divorce, and I would make sure that they were eating something. There was sometimes I didn't eat. They didn't know that. You know, they just probably thought Mama didn't eat right now. But Eric had a spaghetti. Michelle had a hamburger. Jeffrey had chicken, whatever. They never complained. They ate what was there. And, you know, I watched them one day and I started crying because I was so happy that they didn't say, well, she got spaghetti, I want spaghetti. You know, they just did what they did. And we would talk and we would laugh and we would have fun or whatever. And so I'm just proud of myself for thinking about them, not going wild and being wild and doing this and this and that. They were and still are my priority. And anybody tell you that knows me, my kids come first. And they, you know, I put them before myself. I didn't have name brand shoes. I didn't have this or that because I had to clothe children. I didn't have a lot of help with it. So I knew I got out there and I worked. I went to work sick. Even when I was diagnosed with lupus and they told me I had to stay home, I was still trying to go to work. I was driving on the freeway and could hardly turn. You know, but I was determined I had to get to work to make a livelihood because I have a family. So that's what I'm proud of, you know, of myself for that. Not boasting, just I thank God for giving me the wherewithal to do it, you know, the wherewithal and just to do it and be, you know, that kind of a mother for them. I'm not the best, and they probably like, Mama, you with me. But that's love.
We laughed a lot.
Yes,
We
a
had
lot.
jokes in that Black Mercury Monarch,
Yes, yeah.
or whatever car we happened to be in. We laughed a lot listening to
Yeah.
WDPL.
Yeah, we called her Christine.
Christine. But we named everything.
Yeah.
But you know, those impressionable things that builds the character. Whatever you end up becoming or being, whatever you went through was a part of building up the character in you. So what's so funny, Mom, is I wouldn't change a thing.
No.
I wouldn't change a thing. I really, at the time, I guess we would have changed the, we'd be like, oh, nah, I don't. But over time, you don't appreciate time until time has time to have time.
Right. And I wouldn't change a thing either, because it was actually building me up. It was making me stronger, because I had to push. I couldn't give up. When I got sick, I couldn't give up. I can't give up. I got my family, and that made build that strength in me. And a lot of times I know they say, oh, Mom's okay, Mom's, because they see me, she's going to do it. She's going to make it. She's going to be all right. Mom's okay. No, they just know that Mom is going to is that determined soul. My mother used to tell me, out of all of my children, you're the most determined child I have. It's like, girl, please go sit down. But I want to get this. I want to get that. And one thing I'm trying to accomplish now to make myself is get back on the piano, because I listened to Eric play the other day and it just touched my heart. And I said, you know what? I could play that. I could play it.
It's therapy.
Yeah.
You do it for you, not for me.
I'm gonna cut them way down, Diane. Okay.
I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry.
My mom needs to mute.
No. She doesn't. We need to hear from her right now.
Yes.
We need to hear from her right now. So raising an energetic little girl, like, because if she has this much energy at this age, what was she like as a kid? She must have been doing cartwheels through the store and across every parking lot. And
well, let me just say this. So, Melissa and Carlos, incredibly talented, right? And so as a mother, I saw that very early on. And it's interesting you say that about Melissa, because she had like a channeled energy. She wasn't one of those kids that was out of control or needed discipline. And she, I truly tell people she is definitely God's child. Mm-hmm. And I could say that this many years later, because she was one that was focused and determined, mm-hmm. and saw things that she wanted to do. And I encourage that. And I listened to your mom, and I certainly echo. It's interesting because at the time I had no idea that we were both in the same place, mm-hmm. right? Still mm-hmm. both going through a divorce. And for me, moving to Los Angeles with a car full of belongings that's all that I had, and coming to an area that I was unfamiliar with. And I don't know if Melissa and Carlos even realized it, but they have always been like number one. And I, to this day, don't know if they even knew I was struggling, because I always, it felt like they were a priority. Mm-hmm. And that there was certainly meals that were not as probably nutritious as we wanted them to be. Right. But I do remember one time, I think I put $50 in a Bible and gave it to them for Christmas. Oh. And because that's all that I had. And they just went with that. Mm-hmm. And so, I struggled. I went from job to job to job until I found the right one that would sustain me. But through all of that, Melissa, we still went to auditions, and we still sat like there where we belonged, right? Nobody had a clue that Mama didn't have $5 in the tank to make it back home after that audition, right? Nobody knew that. I don't even know if Melissa knew that.
I didn't know that.
She, she did not know the struggle, and through all the horrible relationship of a divorce and the trauma of that, I tried to protect them against that. And I think, and I'm sure the filter wasn't that strong, but they knew that no matter what situation I was in, she was still going to get to her play practice. Carlos was still going to get to his football game, because no matter how traumatized I was, I did not want them in that place with me.
Right.
And so that was the journey. And so because of that, you see the Melissa today. You know, I'm so incredibly proud of the foundation she has. You know, you can't shake that foundation. That's God's foundation. And you know what? And I could deposit in it, but God deposited into it even more. And it's strong. And so I'm very proud of that, of her. I'm very proud of her talent. I'm proud of who she is. Now, the question is, would I have changed anything? Probably not, because I think that the building blocks are built to where they are today because of that. And if any of those blocks were different, then I think things would be a little different right now.
That's right. That's right.
So I have to just know, and I feel that everything, and I've always felt that everything was God directed, and that He doesn't have anything happen without it experience and learning.
I would like to further remind us on this call that our little peon mindsets can't even conceive what He has for us, or has had past tense for us even. You know, I know that to be true. And just as sure as this moment is happening, this is encouraging another generation to make sure this keeps happening. This is not really a popular thing right now to people with their moms on the joint. We can't even, that's not gonna pop up on, you know, on Google a lot right now. But I'm a trendsetter. I'm okay with being comfortable in my own skin at this point, at this age, and I hope you all are too. Because because there's a purpose behind whoever you become, whether the society thinks it's a good or bad thing. It's still a book to be written about your testimony, or if you're bold and brave enough to tell your story.
Right.
There's an audience waiting for it to happen.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I don't feel bad about anything right now. Whatever I'm capable about thinking, whatever my thoughts are not. I used to challenge my own thoughts. Now I don't, because it's not fair to, because you can't help to feel what you've experienced pretty much. You know, we could pretend like we don't have to deal with certain things and different things, but what's funny is this drumming, I guess if we're going to call it drumming, that's got me the most attention, or music. I don't even want to limit it to music. I would like to think that I'm such a, what's the word? What's the term? When you're like a Renaissance person.
A Renaissance man? That's a phrase.
I would like to not be limited, you know, to my music, because music is the bridge to everything else that I think. Music is the better attention to a bigger purpose or a mentality, I think, as a Black man right now in this country. My music gravitates to a bunch of different races so I can get their attention through my music. So Melissa, I would like to thank you, because it's so dope how we are still connected innocently and positively out here in the universe, on social media, getting it in weekly.
Yeah.
That's to be commended. This is not any foolishness. We don't ever have to talk about, hey, should we have not said that and this and that. We don't ever have to, we can rest assured knowing that the energy that we put out into this universe called karma sometimes is coming back at us tenfold. I don't know. Let our mom speak. I'm gonna just shut up.
You're fine.
All right. Well, my mom muted, so she must have something going on. But man, I guess I mean we have been on for a minute or a while, but
It's
I get
different, so
yeah. I mean, I guess I would just want to make sure that we kind of close or wrap up, just with any sort of final mom thoughts, anything that you think, somebody listening, even either from the perspective of being a child who's creative and they, may or may not have a parent that's supportive, or from the perspective of like, a parent is listening and they have a child and they're, not really sure if it's worth the sacrifice. Because you guys both had the theme of sacrifice. Every parent is not willing to make the sacrifices that you both made. I mean, that's just the reality. So I don't know if you guys have any words of wisdom, knowledge, or just anything you want to share. I mean, I'm going to give y'all the mic to do that before we wrap it up.
Well, I just want to say, like I said before, that in that child, you just have to not find, they will show you. There is a diamond in every child, and you know it's there from birth, like Eric and his mom saw where he was pulling out the pots. There is a diamond in every child, and you have to be willing to see what that is and be able to bring that out. That's your responsibility as a parent. Yes, they have to get educated and all those things, but there's something special about every single child. And so as a parent, I would say, find what that is and encourage that and deposit into it. And if you're a child without a parent, there's always somebody in your circle. They are around you. Like I mentioned before, it's a friend, it's an auntie, it's an uncle, it's a neighbor, it's somebody that sees something special in you. And sometimes you might just have to ask them, what do you see different than me than you don't see in somebody else? So what God has for you is for you.
Very good.
And I'll end it with that.
Great. Okay, that's good. Very good. As words of wisdom, I was sitting here, thinking, Lord, tell me what to say, because I want to say the right thing. And one thing is to speak and to give the testimony that God is first in our lives. I trained them to have God first in your life. I'm not a miracle worker. I didn't get healed or be able to work through lupus, open heart surgery, and all the stuff that I've been through on my own. It's the strength that I got from God. And because with my heart being into my children, my grandchildren, and to really put them first and want to be there for them, as a mother, it's going to take some sacrifice. It's going to get to you where you want, hey, I want to go out, I want to do this and do that. I'll get a babysitter. Now, sometimes you have to stay home. Sometimes you have to stay with them. Sometimes you have to look at them. What are they doing? What do they need today? Or what kind of homework is going on? Or, where should I put them? Or what's, it's kind of the focus on them. And to love them, show them love, nurture them as much as you can. My family's kind of huggable. We hug, but I've, but hug, really touch, yeah. But nurture them. Let them know that they're loved. I remember I used to always ask my mother, pull on her skirt, hey, do you like me? Yes, I like you. Every single day I would ask her. I was a kid. Mama, do you like me? Yes. And one day she told me no. I about passed out, burst out crying. She said, no, I don't. I love you. Okay, but I didn't understand love. I wanted to know if you like me, and that's what I wanted to hear. So, and then from that point on, just to start letting me know that you are loved, because that's what we really want. We want love. We want to be loved, and we want to share love. So even as a mother, and if I could say words of wisdom, love your children, no matter what. They don't have to be musicians. They don't have to be this or that. Love them, show them love, pay them attention, and ask God to give you strength and the wisdom to know what to do. Because we don't, raising children didn't come with a handbook. You know, you do this, step 1, step 2, step 3. You just kind of have to feel your way as you go.
Life doesn't.
No, life doesn't. So ask God to show you. That's what's going to get you through it.
And I just want to go ahead. I'm sorry. I thought you were done. Go ahead. Go
no,
ahead.
I'm fine. And that's what it is.
Yeah. So I just wanted to touch on something you said between like and love. And as a parent, oftentimes we might not like our children, but we will always love our children.
Oh yeah.
It is just a fact. Sometimes, I mean, you look at me, I don't like you right now. I'll always love you, but right now I don't like you.
Yeah, we don't like what they do sometimes.
You don't like what you do.
Isn't it fair to say life has been a roller coaster, no matter what the diet?
Absolutely.
What
exactly?
Because these chapters are, you know, when we turn the page, the chapter is called a different title or different. It's introducing us to a next phase. The beautiful thing about persevering or lasting through all of these turmoils and the triumphs. Because one thing that I would like to point out, and we all can say this, there's been more triumphs than fails. We need to keep that at the forefront for God. Because a lot of times it's easier to fall. We love to be in defeat. It's comfortable to be there, right? And need all this sympathy and all this stuff. But he's brought us through way more than we've been through.
Right.
And what we can even fathom what that is. Because we're still here. And the beautiful thing about this conversation is this is not a popular thing online right now, Melissa, but this is probably going to be one of the best ones because it's necessary. It's brave. It's normal. This is totally normal. What's funny about like we're all saying, I wouldn't change a thing. I really wouldn't change a thing because I guess this instills the character within all of us and wherever we think we are right now. And as long as we're comfortable where we are right now, I guess it's just another form of a graduation. But as long as we're living on this side of the land of the living, we'll always be able to, we should want to aspire to graduate. I don't want to be the same Eric that I was 10 years ago or 20 years prior. And I make sure of that. And so with that comes location changes, friends change, scents change, appearances change. That's called growth. It's evolving, right? We can't use those terms without deleting something. I don't know if I'm getting too deep for everybody, but
no, it's deep because you're making. Here's what I'm thinking about as you're saying this. This is so generational, right? And so we've got 2 generations on the phone, and we know we have 3 generations because I have 7 grandbabies and 14 years guardian of 2 of them. So just sacrificing of myself, right? And so, you know, the importance of continued depositing into that next generation, because there is things called a generational curse. And if you don't break that, soon it will continue on. And so my whole thing that I have right now is just really breaking that curse and making sure that as life goes on, that we do something different.
Yes. What would be one curse in your namesake, I guess?
It's absent fathers.
Okay. I think
that speaks for itself.
Yes.
Mom, what would yours be?
I don't know. The curse, like she said, of absent fathers for sure. I don't know. I don't want to focus on money because we made it. We had what we needed, so it's not that. But it could have been like, oh, the little fairy tale. Oh, they had their mother, father go to grandma and grandpa's house together. They're together. That to me, you know, that's what I wanted. And you know, like we're saying that time, you know, things change. There's seasons. The seasons that we'll go through. You know, this season, okay, in and out, like Eric said, well, you don't want to be like you were 10 or 20 years ago. But that was that season. So it's time to move on as the seasons change. Well, there's 4 seasons, but there could be many seasons to our lives. God has something different, God, for everyone. Nobody is identical. Nobody's life is the same. It's for you, the path that he has for you.
Custom
made.
Custom. I'm just super grateful because I know that the families that we're born into they're not by accident, you know, they're by design. It's like we have the mother and we have the father that we have for a reason. We have the siblings that we have for a reason, like, you know, and so.
Let me say this, Melissa, before I forget it. We cannot ever pretend like we can discredit our creator for doing how he did, whatever he did, how he did it. And that's one thing that a lot of times we want to make it convenient for our ways and decisions and things like that. But never mind. I don't want to take too much time on that. But I really, really, really feel like nothing is an accident. Everything is very aligned.
Amen.
It's very aligned. Whether we can conceive it or not, it's not up.
God directed, Eric. God directed, period.
Thank you. And he has no respect of person. So it's not nobody was born filling out an application. I want to be black. I want to be white. I want to live here. I want to live.
Right.
He has no respect of person. We do that.
Right.
The beautiful thing, and we need to be further reminded of whatever we're doing is in his time. We're so impatient that we can't even, it's just that we're just impatient. In his time, things it will make perfect sense. Like it always, thank God that he's him and we're not. Lord, all of us would have been gone.
It's not
had no show tonight.
Right. I mean, I was going to say there's a lot of things that we may not like, you know what I mean? In terms of the journey that we're on, the things that have happened in our life, but it's like, regardless of what we don't like, it's like, that's what I'm saying. I'm grateful because it all knits together and it all will make sense. If it doesn't make sense now, it will. And even if it never makes sense to us, it made sense to God from the beginning of time, which is why he made it the way it is.
The Lord.
Exactly. You know what, guys? I've been reading Samuel and Kings, and God was cleaning house big time. And so I think about that. And as I read that, I was like, he was very much directed in making sure that he cleansed and made sure that people were of him that existed. And so that's so powerful that we're talking about that right now.
Right. He is a creator, you know, this is his world. He plans this. He knows what's already going to happen. We don't. We're supposed to follow
the numbers of our hairs are numbered and we don't know that. I'm gonna leave it at that. That's enough. That's enough. We don't need to keep proving everything. That's enough. That should be enough for us to get out of our own way. Hey, God bless y'all.
Oh my gosh. All right, y'all. I don't know how we're going to wrap up this conversation because we can just go on and on, but we are going to have to wrap it up. We've been on here for an hour and almost 15 minutes.
Oh, wow.
So look at that. Time flies when you're having fun with your moms.
With your moms.
Thank you for inviting me on. I'm so excited to see. Oh my gosh. Everybody just looks so good.
You know what? This is healthy. Isn't this is healthy.
Yes.
This is healthy. You know, there's not many topics that children and parents are willing to get on in this day and time. And we need to keep hope alive.
Hey, listen, but if it wasn't for the devastation of a pandemic, we would not be on this call right now.
That's true.
These are the
That's
wonderful jewels that have come out of that pandemic,
Mhm.
that people
Well-
have access to technology, and we, who knows when we would have seen each other,
Right.
because we were all part of the process of in person,
Mhm.
right?
There's something good in everything.
Absolutely.
We have to just pull it out.
Absolutely,
I'm stuck at
Sylvia,
home, but what can I
absolutely.
do at home?
Yeah,
I
here's-
should come
here's-
out of this having something more than I had before,
Mhm.
because you've got the time.
Nothing occurs to God.
No,
Yeah.
he knows it. He knows what it's about.
He knew. We can say past. We can add a "e." It's past tense.
Yeah,
There's nothing occurs to God.
he
This
knows.
is no surprise, and that's why we need to practice faith,
Mhm.
the substance of things. Come on, y'all. Let's
Every
go.
day,
right.
every day, get that faith popping.
That's Melissa, y'all. That's my partner right there.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
People always talk about I don't even think I'm that hyper.
You are
whatever.
crazy. You probably.
Yeah, I remember.
They need to name a medicine after you.
Yes, Melissa,
Melissa.
Hyper is your middle name for sure.
Oh Lord.
I want some of that. I want some of that.
That is too funny.
But
All right.
one thing
Go ahead. No,
just
go
really
ahead.
quick, Eric, I am so glad that you got the chance, or we had the chance, not that we don't talk, but just actually kind of interviewed me, with the questions, and man, feel free anytime, ask me stuff. Because I want that line communication.
What are we gonna do? We're gonna go live with your children, all your children and you.
Ooh, that'll be fun. I'm gonna watch.
Since you're bringing that up, all right. So let's go.
Okay. Hey,
Boom,
Yes.
there it is.
there it is.
Every family should do that.
Yeah, Mom. We're gonna have to do it too.
Everybody has to do that, and we'll lead the way. We'll lead by example.
Lead by
You can only
example.
be the change you want to see.
Eric, please be the example, because because we need shown the way for sure.
Don't worry about it. We'll do
So
it.
I'll
Since
let-
my mom
so
brought
I'll
it up, she's
I'll let
gonna
your
host
family-
it.
I'll let your family
I'm
go
gonna
first.
host it.
My mom's
I'll-
hosting it since she brought it up, so you'll see.
I'll
Okay.
host it.
Yeah, we're gonna stay on her too.
Okay.
Okay.
Start
And
next
then we'll
week. You know me.
listen, you'll
This is
show us
what we
the
do.
way.
This is what we do, y'all. This is nothing. We do this in our sleep, right? We faith in our sleep, because me and Melissa and myself are definitely doing it. Hey, Melissa, we're reaching a lot of people. I've been hearing a lot about us.
All right.
Anyway, let's close out.
Yeah, let's close out. Thank you again for coming on. Okay, listen, you guys have been listening to For the Artist, a podcast brought to you by Creative M Projects. We have had with us SYLVIA Seats, mom to Eric Seats, and Charlotte Bland, my mother. I'm one of your co-hosts, Melissa Sharee.
And I'm your other co-host, Eric Seats.
And just in case you wanted to, put some dollars and cents to a good cause, Creative M Projects is a 501c3 tax exempt organization. So feel free to go to our website, creativemprojects.org, make a donation, or even just see what's going on, because we got some stuff coming up. We got a summer book club series coming up, actually, Seats. I didn't tell you about that.
We have a lot of things.
Yeah, lots of things. All right, y'all. So until next week, keep creating from the inside
Inside out.
out. Yes.
That's right.
Awesome. Thank
Bye.
you.